Well, hey there, friends, and welcome back to the Creative Shop Talk podcast, episode 303. You're getting Wendy with a bit of a cold at the end of my cold, and I am not in my studio. I am recording on the road. I'm currently in New Zealand, so we have a little bit of background noise. You might hear some airplanes and some fun things happening around, but here we are. We're showing up. We're here for you. I am excited today to be bringing you the first part of a 3-part series. I have been having such incredible conversations with my clients here in New Zealand, with my clients online, my retailers, and my Level Up Mastermind group, some of my private clients. We've been talking a lot about what's happening in the retail world at this stage and what matters. And right now, 100% what I'm seeing are brands that care about their people, brands that have a good reputation, brands that are not mediocre, brands that are exceptional. And that's what we're going to have our whole series around, is how to create an exceptional brand. What does that look like? What does that mean? How do we stand out? How do we not be just like another shop on the street? And I know we do things all the time, and we're always thinking that we're doing things to stand out. But in the history of retail, in any kind of stress situations, I will tell you, it's always brands that are mediocre or average that don't make the cut. So yes, we have to do all kinds of other, we have to make sure that we're running our business, but we have to make sure that we're aware of our business, we're running it like a business. And I know you're doing that. If you're listening to the podcast, that's already something that you're doing. But we want to make sure that your brand is standing out too. This is one part in marketing that I see a lot of retailers maybe not struggle with, but where there's opportunities, missed opportunities. So let's jump into the first part of our 3-part series on how to create an exceptional brand. And today we're going to talk about your reputation and brand alignment and how to have a meaningful brand. Let's go. Running a retail business doesn't have to be so hard. Welcome to the Creative Shop Talk podcast, the go-to podcast for creative shop owners, studio owners, and independent retailers. I'm your host, Wendy Batten, retail business coach and mentor. Each week, I'll share simple, proven business strategies, inspiring stories from fellow retailers, and advice from industry experts. Together, we're going to work to find the success you want from your retail business, with more profits in your till and a little more joy in your life. Okay, my friends. So you notice how some shops are really busy. They're always trusted. They're talked about, and others feel kind of inconsistent or forgettable or just fine. Fine is not good enough anymore. Fine is not. So I had a conversation with a new client here in New Zealand, and we were talking about everything she was doing was like checking a box. And I mean that with love, and she knows I'm going to talk about it. So it was like checking a box, like everything was merchandised, everything was fine. But there was nothing to make her stand out, nothing that made it, her products were fine. She had good categories. Her service was fine. Everything was fine. Her brand did not stand out. Even like the way her shop looked, there was just nothing, like, I don't know, it just didn't call in anybody specific. So it's really important to remember that our whole business model, everybody, all of us, if you're listening, it's all about not trying to get more customers and more shoppers. It's about trying to attract the right people. And you do that with your brand. So we reorganized her brand. We talked about a lot of things, what she really wanted people to see. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. We need our customers to trust us. We are seeing the trust economy. You're hearing it, I'm sure, thrown around all over the place. I've been talking about it for months here on the Creative Shop Talk podcast. It's something I talk about with my private clients, my coaching clients. It's something we talk about inside my retailers' sales and marketing accelerator. It's a really big topic of conversation right now. Customers are choosing what feels right to them right now, not just what's available. right? They want to choose, they're looking for something that means something. And this is no matter what you're selling, whether you're selling souvenirs at a gift shop, or you're selling art supplies or workshops or books, or whether you're selling jewelry, doesn't matter. Customers are looking to feel good when they spend at this stage. And maybe, something that is more meaningful. It's not just about shop local and, that kind of thing anymore. It is really about meaningful purchases. So this first part, as we're going to talk about creating an exceptional brand around your reputation, it is around your branding. It is around understanding that your reputation is your brand. It's what people say your reputation is. The second part of the series, we're going to talk about hospitality and how that's an inside job. And that's a big thing. We're going to be talking about that quite a bit. I have a special guest for you next week. And then the third part of this series, we're going to talk about how we're creating loyalty, how customers decide to stay loyal. Like what is that? What are the influences to that? So I'm really excited to bring this series to you. So let's jump right in. The first part I wanted to talk about regarding your brand and your reputation. And again, folks, you've got a scratchy voice, Wendy here, just getting over a cold. So I feel like I'm probably coming to you a little bit scratchy. Anyway, I just want to apologize for that, and hopefully it sounds okay. But let's talk about how do we do an audit or a check? And so I have some questions for you and some things to think about. First of all, I want to remind you, you know this, I'm sure you do, but your brand is not your logo. It's not your colors. It's not the fonts. That is not what a brand is. That is just the characters in your brand, right? Your brand is what people say about you when they leave your shop, when they tell other people. What do they say? You don't get to decide what your brand is. Your customers do. You lead the way by offering and serving, but I just want to remind you that your brand is what other people say it is. So what are they saying? The goal is for us to have a brand that's the brand of choice. There is no other, you are the go-to in the community for whatever it is you sell. Put your blinders on, stop comparing yourselves to other people, and really make sure that you know what it is you want your brand to be for your community. So another note on this is great brands are not for everyone. I say this all the time. I know you know that. And you are a great brand. An exceptional business is not for everybody. Trying to serve everyone waters down everything. Again, it's just that energy of, I don't know, that was actually my customer's problem. It was just, everything was fine. It was meh. There was nothing that called in any specific customer. So it's also okay to repel some people who are not your ideal customers. You can't be priced, for example, for everybody. You can't have everything. If you're a high-end art store, you can't have, low-end brands. I'm trying to think of a low-end brand. I don't know any, but you have to remember who it is you are trying to serve. So this is how you get stronger. This is also something that maybe you need to revisit. What I see in evolving brands, in brands that are surviving right now is, and with my clients specifically, I can only speak to the clients I have the privilege to work with. But what I see happening right now is when my clients are getting really choosy and they're reevaluating, because what you started with is not necessarily what you should have now. Where you started isn't usually what's evolved. So as our brand evolves, as our business evolves, our customers evolve, we need to consistently take a look at our marketing and sales strategy around our brand. What are we trying to achieve, and who are we trying to achieve it for? Who are our customers? And that changes a lot. It changes a lot. So again, a reminder, it's okay to repel some people, but you do want to make sure you are attracting the right people. So do you have a clear brand strategy, or are you just winging it? This is what I see a lot. So, and again, if you need any help around that, I'm going to urge you to join us in the retail Sales and Marketing Accelerator program. We also have a private coaching session if you wanted to do that as well. So it's on demand. The Retail Sales and Marketing course is on demand. You can do that anytime. Go grab it. We walk all through branding and visibility and all the different parts of your simplified retail branding and marketing. But there's also an opportunity for you and I to hang out together and have a session together. So you can find all that information. We'll have it in the show notes. But what do you want your premium customers to say about you to their friends? That's a little litmus test right now. That's a great place to start. The next part is, who do you want to serve versus who are you currently serving? And again, this is as our business evolves. We are not for everybody, and they're often not the same person. Sometimes we want to serve somebody, but our customers walking in the door currently are not necessarily, or some of the customers are not necessarily our ideal premium clients. So you're allowed to shift. You're allowed to refine. You're allowed to make sure that you're calling in and attracting. Again, we're not trying to get shoppers to shop with us. We are trying to attract. So who are you trying to attract? Who do you want more of? Who are you accidentally attracting now? Are you putting on big sales? One of the obstacles, challenges, I hate using the word problem, but one of the things that client I was telling you about earlier, she was forever cash poor. And again, she knows I'm talking about this. So she was forever cash poor. So she was always going to the flash sales. Well, flash sales were attracting the wrong clientele. Her products were amazing. She had a lot of watered down products, meaning that her inventory had incredible high-end products, but then also a lot of cheaper brands. So who are you? What are you trying to do? And then these flash store-wide sales just kept attracting the bargain shoppers, and they were not her ideal client. So we've stopped the sales, or we have sales, but they're on-purpose sales now. And again, we went through my entire Retail Sales Accelerator program. Her and I did that and looked at all of the pieces and then refined her inventory, refined her customers. So we really defined who it was she wanted to serve versus who she was serving. So she kept speaking to these customers that were looking for the sales and the discounts, and she was not attracting the ones who wanted the high-end products that she had. So another thing to look at is defining the feelings. And I mentioned this at the top of the episode. Your brand lives in your brand is how people feel in your space, right? It's how they feel. I know that sounds crazy, but if you think about it, do you feel amazing when I walk in? When I walk into your shop, does it feel dodgy? Does it feel rushed? Does it feel loud? How do you want people to feel? I want your exercise for this part is thinking about the 3 to 5 words that you want your ideal customers to feel. Calm, inspired, seen, delighted, proud, excited. I don't know. What is it that you want them to feel when they're in your shop? I can tell you, again, as I mentioned, I'm on a working holiday, I guess. I'm traveling through New Zealand, visiting a lot of shops. I visited, I think at last count, we were at over 100 shops. And there's a lot of shops I walk into and I have no idea what they want me to feel in this shop. Because a lot of them I just feel like, I don't know, bargain basement heralds or average, or the words I would use to describe are just, and remember at the top of the episode I mentioned, in order to have a brand that's exceptional, it has to be memorable. It has to have a feeling. We have to have a brand that feels good. The only place that I have spent my money while I'm here, and again, visiting all these shops, has been in shops that make me feel something and I just love, or that I smile and I enjoy. And, and I'm a premium client. I love to shop. I love to buy beautiful things. So why am I not in some shops? And actually having conversations with some shop owners. And, when we start pointing out things, these are clients, obviously, we start pointing out things. It's like, oh, right. Yeah. So, and then what's the difference between a shop that has that feeling, that feels really, really good. I'm going to give a shout out here now to the ladies at Petronella's in Lake Tikapu. And I mean, I felt so good outside their shop before I went in. And then when I went in the shop, it just the right sounds, the right music, the right layout, the right merchandising, interesting products, wonderful staff at the, just greeted me, did all the things, all the things that we recommend. The shop was not chaotic. It felt really good. Guess where I spent my money? And again, shout out to the ladies, had a great chat with them there. And just a different level versus, I'm going to say, the shop next door, the shop next door to that, the shop next door to that, all very average. So what are the 3 to 5 words you want your ideal customer, your premium clients to feel? And this is, again, part of your strategy. You have to have a strategy around this. Revisit this if you haven't done it in a while. And I want to remind you as well, too, the next part is your brand is built from the customer's point of view, as I keep saying. Like, how do you want them to feel? Your description of what you want your brand, your opinion of what your brand is, really doesn't matter. We have to make sure that we are taking a really good look at the overall style, the overall feel, the sound, the energy, the flow, how your staff speak, how they're dressed, how they interact. What's the signage look like? Your fonts, your displays. What's the service style? Is it just transactional or is it relational? Your brand, again, you have to define all these things. You have to revisit these regularly. This is how our brands evolve. Exceptional brands are also really aware of their pricing and their pricing strategy. Your pricing tells a story before you even say a word. So if you're discount driven, or if your customers are value driven, or experience driven, does your pricing reflect confidence or hesitation? Are your staff trained well? And the value that people put behind things. Stop shopping from your own pocket. I know I say that a lot here. If you're a regular listener, stop shopping from your own pocket. Start remembering that who you're attracting and what do they want to see. Prices that end in like 99 and 97, that kind of gives the discounty feel versus a clean, confident number of $22, versus $19.99. There's a difference in energy there. Do your customers feel proud to shop with you? This is part of your pricing strategy. Will they tell people where they shop? What is your brand that you're trying to create? And again, there's a million things to consider when we talk about brands. And I do go into detail on the Retail Sales and Accelerator program. I've mentioned that a few times because I'm really convinced that everybody needs to take that. And at the time of listening to this, it is, I believe, currently on sale. The sale for that price, the sale for the Retail Sales Accelerator, that price will be going up. It's going up mid-April. So this will be launching in April, but when the end of this series is over, that price goes up as well too. And if you are listening to this in real time when it comes out, or close around this series time and not years later, but if you're listening to it now, we will also you'll probably have an opportunity, unless we sell out, of being able to work with me privately. We're having a private group bonus on that as well too. So go and check that out. You can find that all on my website at wendybatten.com. And again, understanding what you're trying to achieve with your marketing, with your branding, with your the strategy you're trying to build. That's how we build exceptional brands. So knowing your customer deeply, being familiar with them, understanding what they want, being consistent with them. Trust is built through repetition, making sure that your hours are consistent, your inventory is aligned, your marketing is clear, your services are predictable in a good way, meaning that they have consistent service. Inconsistency really erodes trust. And again, right now in this season that we are with retail, we are looking for trust. We are looking for meaningful relationships. We are looking for brands and stores, and again, I see this over and over again, that care about their customers, care about their products, show initiative, are not mediocre, are not meh or boring or average. And this is every time there's a season of stress in the economy, or even just, even just as our business grows, I mean, there's always, we get complacent sometimes. I mean, everybody gets complacent with their business. So remember, people vote with their money, and we want to make sure that our brand always stays in a position that matters in the community. So understanding why you matter in your community, why they should shop with you, put your blinders on, stop looking at other people, and really have a clear view of what your brand is. Okay, if you want to build a brand that attracts the right customers, keeps them happy, keeps them buying, attracts them, again, we're not trying to get and lure and all of that. Like, we're not trying to get clients. That energy is just so crappy, if you ask me. We are trying to attract them. So stop working so hard at getting, got to do this, got to do that, got to do social media, got to do all these things, and start spending some time and energy, or revisit spending time and energy around the pieces of your marketing strategy that matter, that attract the right people. So again, that's my invitation for you to join us inside the Retailer's Sales and Marketing Accelerator. It's an on-demand program. You go, you grab that, you go through that. It will take you about an hour to go through it, but it will take you a lot longer, and in a good way, to do the work around that. And it's one of our most popular programs, and it's on demand, but there's also a bonus right now of a live session. If you want to jump into that as well, you have the opportunity to do that. We're only taking 10 people into that program, and that's running mid-April 2026, in case you're listening to this. And that will just be my eyes. I will help you work through that in a small group program. And again, we're only taking 10 people for that program. So that will help you get clear, get aligned. It will build a brand that actually works long term, but really staying on top of what it is, who you are trying to attract, and what it is you want to achieve with your brand, and not getting complacent. All right, my friends, thank you for listening. Apologize if I've been a little scratchy. Also recording on a whole different setup here because we're on the road. So thank you for your patience around that. This was episode 1 of our 3-part series. Next week, I have a fantastic guest. We're going to talk about hospitality in your retail business, and you're going to love. Stephanie's coming back. She's been on the podcast before. She's joining us next week, and then we'll have the 3rd episode for you, obviously, in 2 more weeks. So thank you for listening. You can find out all my resources, my programs, how I serve people, how I help retailers just like you who are growing amazing businesses and causing wonderful ripples in your community, businesses that matter, businesses that are meaningful, that serve you, serve your team, serve your customers, serve your community. That's what we're all about here. So you can find everything on my website at wendybatten.com, and you can /work with me, and it'll give you all our programs, or just head off to our main page. Hope to see you soon. Thanks for listening today. Thanks for taking time for your business, and we'll see you next week in part 2. Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Creative Shop Talk podcast. I'm so glad that you're here to join us this week, and I hope you found value in what we're sharing here. I want to remind you that our website has all of the show notes. You can find it at wendybatten.com/podcast. Everything that you need to hear about today's podcast is there. Also an opportunity if you need to reach out to me. If I can support you in any way whatsoever, please feel free to reach out. So thanks for joining us. Please leave a review, subscribe if you can, and never miss an episode. We hope to see you back here again next week. Thanks, my friend. Have a great week.